Hung.
Hung.
Hungy.
Now, what's hungy is YouTube receiving content.
And now we're live. Alright. Welcome, guys, for a late edition. Well, not really late. It's, well, day late. Of Talking Time with Caffeine.
Yeah, late. Well, fuck.
Issues yesterday, and instead of these two doing it alone, they waited for me. Give them a round of applause. Anyways, this is a continuation of last week's episode. Last week's episode. But also some other stuff too, because you can't always talk about the same thing all the time, because that'd be boring.
But first, we gotta crack. We gotta crack open a can of Pepsi. Or whatever you have.
No, you crack its head.
Or in Vandalia's case, snap its neck.
Snap.
Yep. This is Talking Time with Caffeine, the only podcast where we talk about caffeine. We drink caffeine, talk about the world issues and our own issues.
Well, I guess we could talk about caffeine. And
It keeps you awake. It keeps you awake.
Hell yeah, it does.
Anyways, earlier this week, me and Snick had gone to bed at this point, but me and talking about scams. Apparently, I watched these videos about some guy from Jamaica or something, pretending to be from Public Clearinghouse, a company that gives away money every year, saying trying to trick the lady into saying that she won the money, but apparently the guy said to get the money, you need to give me money.
Oh my god, that reminds me of my dad getting called by a phone scammer once. It weirdly enough, when my dad described the story to me, he noted the guy had a Jamaican accent. Either that or it was an African accent, but like he claimed, "Oh, you just won the lottery! You just won the lottery! Now you just need to give me your bank info so that we can deposit the money. Come on, man! Come on, man!"
So, apparently, with this scam, the lady had the police called the real PCH people, and they said no one works in Jamaica or something like that. And then Mario was saying the whole thing was a scam. The whole company is a scam. And apparently they've been working out this since the 80s.
I think Publishers Clearinghouse is a scam personally, because I don't understand how they can make these claims saying, "Oh, win $1 million so something for your life." It's like, yeah. How are you getting all this money exactly? I mean, seriously, win blank amount of day or month for your life.
They tapped into President Trump's bank account.
Or whatever president is for the 4/8 years. But seriously though, it doesn't add up. You can't make a claim like that for such a long time. For like multiple people doing it multiple times. You just can't do that.
Apparently,
it's just not ethical. I don't think that's the right word.
Oh, a few years ago, it was $5,000 a week for your life, and then $5,000 a week for someone else's life after you die. At the time, I made a joke. So, after 2 years, they'll kill you. Oops! Oh, darn, he died. Oh well. Like, you won $1,000 a day for life. 20 days later, oh, he died somehow.
Yeah. But no, seriously, you can't tell me you make that much fucking money to have a company where you can make these bold claims and, you know, have this fucking huge thing about it. I just don't see how that's possible. And that's why I think it's a scam, because there's just no fucking way that it's possible, at least in my eyes.
I also heard about this other scam where, because this one is their own people's faults. Apparently, these people get videos of girls, get people to strip on Skype, and then they blackmail them over it.
Wait, what?
A fake girl calls you on Skype, apparently, gets you to strip, and then they threaten you. It's like, send me money, or we seen these videos on Facebook or whatever.
The fuck? That's bullshit.
But yeah.
Well, first off, why is it Facebook? Why not the authorities? Second,
because they.
Wait, what?
Well, because they give my. If they send the pictures to the authorities, then they'll get in trouble.
Well,
but then if it's Facebook, then your family will see it apparently, and your family will see you naked on the internet.
Well, like, do they actually send photos or stuff to Facebook? Because
I don't know. I have no idea. I just heard about it. People talking about.
Here's the thing. All they have to do is basically just say they're doing it. I mean, unless that both parties are going to get in trouble, then, you know.
It's not the person that'll get in trouble, it's just they'll be embarrassed, I think.
You embarrassed us!
Yeah, but here's the problem with this. First off, it's illegal to blackmail, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
and second, it's illegal to basically send nudes. So, why would it be Facebook when it should have been the authorities in the first place? And plus, here's a question. If they were actually sent to the authorities, who would get in trouble more? The blackmailer or the person that's stripped?
I don't know. I was looking up scams, and that one came up. Just like, speaking of scams, whatever happened to your scam?
My scam?
Yeah. Was that a scam? Even a scam?
No, I call it a scam. Because basically, if anyone doesn't know, I bought an iPhone 5C for $50. It was advertised in really good condition, and it came with a charger. Nothing else. Oh, well, I guess if you want to say it came with the SIM card slot, then sure. But yeah, comes in the mail, and like advertised, it was in really good condition for $50. And I turn it on. The battery seems to be in a really nice condition too. There didn't seem to be any issues with the battery. But one problem I had was the fact that I couldn't even set it up because it required a SIM card. So I went to T-Mobile, my phone carrier, and they told me that they can't use their SIM card on the phone because it's already linked with a different carrier. So I had to fight with the seller to basically get him to tell me what the carrier was. This person would not want to talk to me because they will literally wait a long-ass time basically avoiding me, and he would make up bullshit like, oh, he was busy. And I remember one time in particular, he specifically told me, oh, not everyone can check their email. I have a job, and basically all that bullshit. But here's the problem with that argument. It doesn't take very long to look at your fucking email. Like, seriously, it takes you like maybe a few seconds just to even
especially in this day and age when you have the freaking... Especially in this day and age when you have email on the frickin' phone.
Exactly, so that's even more flexibility. Like, is it seriously that fucking difficult for you? And plus, if you're going to be selling stuff on eBay, you have to understand that people are going to be messaging you for whatever reason. Whether it's a question or if there's a problem with something you're selling or what. It's just gonna happen. So, you need to be able to look at your fucking email when you're selling stuff on eBay. And I'm pretty sure that's not a difficult task, regardless if you have a job or not. I mean, literally, just do it on your off time. Do it on your phone when you're on break. What the fuck? He'd also lie to me when he would tell me, oh, he'd reply back within this day. So let's say that it's a Friday. He'd tell me he'd message me on Monday. I'd be patient to the point where it would be 7 days later, way past what he originally would say, and he would still not message me. So after about 2-3 weeks, he finally tells me what the carrier is. I call their number, and surprise, surprise, it's a Canadian carrier. I call them, and it turns out that the seller was once again lying, but thank God that the carrier told me what the actual carrier for the phone was. So I called up that place, or looked into it, or whatever. They told me it was going to be $50 to $100 to get it network unlocked, and I'm like, really? $50 to $100? And I'm just thinking in my head, why the hell is it that much? Like, fucking seriously? Other companies do it for, like, way less, or sometimes even free. Why is it $50 to $100? That's like about the same price I'd pay for another iPhone on eBay that I was looking for. What the fuck? So, I had two options at this point. Either A, I could network unlock it, or B, try and sell the phone for $50, except making this change. Warning people about the fact that you have to unlock it with that price. Why not return the item and get my money back? I didn't do that because I tried to do that. See, what happened was I was putting in the information, I got one piece of information incorrect, and I submitted it. But what eBay doesn't tell you is if you close the return request, then they're assuming, oh, everything's neat and dandy, so there's nothing else you can do now. And it's like, why would you lock a seller out of doing that without warning them? Are you fucking stupid, eBay? Like, seriously, you have to search into the website in order to even be told that. It's not a situation where you fucking go and you're about to close it and it pops up saying, warning, once you close this request, you cannot reopen it. And the other thing is that you can't even edit it either, so once you submit it, then that's final, basically. And because eBay failed to tell me this, I got fucked over, and I was told the only other thing I could do is try it again, but with PayPal. I tried it on PayPal's side, and it seemed as though no matter what I did, PayPal just did not have a good return system for eBay, to the point where it was completely useless. Completely useless. So, why can't I return it? Because eBay failed to tell the buyer, aka me, that once you close a request, you cannot open it again. And that's exactly what I did. I closed it because I wanted to change a piece of information because you cannot edit it, and that's where the downfall was. And to this day, I still have that phone, and it's just sitting there, sitting in my drawer right now, basically fucking being an expensive paperweight, and I'm not even sure what I'm gonna do with it right now. I mean, it's functional, but I don't think network unlocking it is the greatest solution at this point, especially if it's $50 to $100. Like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like almost double the amount I paid for the phone for.
You probably buy a new phone for the same price.
Exactly. Well, wait, a new phone?
If all else fails, you could also break it, frickin' Mad Catz controller style.
I got mine for $200. I got my iPhone 6 for $200. Not technically new. I guess it's a new phone. It's not the newest phone in the thing, but
yeah. But yeah, I might end up selling it if I really wanted to for $50 again, maybe.
let's say, hey, like eBay, like a phone for sale. Good luck unlocking it.
Yeah, I kind of forgot what the company was, actually. I probably have it written down somewhere, but I don't remember. But yeah, there was also one other situation I had years before that where I bought a fucking camera and being stupid...
Oh, yeah, that. Oh, my God.
Okay, keep in mind I was really stupid at this time, like... I'm like fucking either early teenage years or like 13. But anyways, so I buy a camera on eBay that claims it was HD for a really low price. I don't remember what the specific price was, but it was probably about $20 maybe, around that price point. I buy it and I get the fucking camera out, and it turns out that the quality is worse than a flip phone camera. I'm not even fucking joking. It is worse than a flip phone camera. I was pissed. Oh, and I'm not talking about video quality only. No, video and audio quality was really bad. And yet it said that it's claiming to be HD quality. So I tried to get my money back, but the fucking seller didn't want to give it back to me because he's like, oh, well, if people ask for refunds, then nobody can make money. And if I were dealing with this seller nowadays, I would fucking just continue fighting with him and, you know, doing the right things. But because I was fucking stupid and autistic me, I decided to fucking apparently give up, and I was going to destroy it at one point, but then I somehow lost the camera and the fucking whole thing entirely, actually, and that was the end of that.
Wah.
So yeah, if you buy a camera that's HD, or supposedly HD, and it's $20, don't buy it.
What about you, Snick? Have you ever been scammed before? Or
I may have. I think I told my scamming a few of my scam stories before. Like, when it comes to buying something, very, very rarely have I ever been scammed. Mostly because I am very paranoid about the listings I check. I think I was actually almost scammed out of one of my items that I have listed on eBay. I'm selling Prototype on PS3 because I have the PS4 ports. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I got the PS4 collection of Prototypes. I don't need the PS3 version anymore. So, at one point there was this one guy, because on my eBay listings I always include best offer, just in case the buyer wants to ask for like $1 or $2 off the price, or if I make a big misjudgment in pricing the item and I find out it's actually lower. Obviously, when you put best offer, you get a lot of scumbags who try to ask for more than half the price off, and I always tell them no.
Yeah.
There was this one guy who was very persistent, and he kept asking for half the price off. And there was one point when I had the game listed for $7. He asked for, like, $4. And I told him I'll only sell it for 6 or 5 or something like that. He lowered his offer to $350. He counter-offered $350 after he had offered 4.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to make an offer, then have the seller tell you, oh, I only sell it for this price, which is higher than what you asked for, and then lower your price even more. Like, what the fuck? No, that's even worse.
Yeah, I was almost considering just blocking him from buying until I found out it's not really possible to do that, unless. Then again, actually, I think you can block individual accounts on eBay, but I didn't have to do that because he stopped. And then, out of nowhere, when the listing went down, because I always keep my listings up for 30 days, and once they go down, I'll relist it with the price dropped a little bit, maybe to bring in more buyers. And then eventually, when it reaches the point where I think I drop the price too low, I just don't put the game up on my eBay page after that, and I just put the game aside, and next time I visit one of my retro game stores, I'll just bring it with me to trade in. Because, like, if I can't sell it at, like, such a low price on eBay, then it's like the trading credit's better at that point. So anyways, getting on to the scam. Out of nowhere, when I had relisted the game for $6, I got a buyer. He bought it at full price. At first I was like, finally sold it, good. And then I noticed it was a couple of days, and, well, actually not a couple of days, it was like more than a day, and I noticed he didn't pay. I actually went on my page, and I went to his account so I could send him a message reminding him to ship the item. No, not to ship the item, to purchase it, pay for it. I found out he's not even located in the US. He's located in India. He has no feedback, no history with eBay whatsoever. I was rightfully suspicious, especially when I did some research and I found out that playing games is not a very common thing in India. Eventually I was thinking, well, what do I do? I don't want to... I can't send it out. Not to mention, I would have to ship internationally. That's probably going to cost more than the game itself. I'm not going to get any profit. Like, even if this guy's legit, which he probably isn't. So I was paranoid, and I'm thinking, how am I going to prevent this guy from taking the game? And it was like, once he sent the payment, like, that's it. I have to ship it out, or risk my account. Thankfully, he never paid. And the thing with eBay is that after 48 hours, you can open an unpaid item case. And if the buyer still won't pay after, like, 4 days, then you're able to close the case, and you can take the item and list it with no consequences. But I was afraid to do that, because I was worried that if I waited any longer, the buyer was going to make a fake payment and probably try to steal the item. Thankfully, I called eBay, and the representative told me, because the thing is, you do have the ability to just cancel the transaction automatically. But the thing is, when you do that, the buyer has full right to leave you negative feedback and claim that they felt dishonored by you canceling their order.
Well, maybe you should have the money to pay for you bid the thing then. Like, I'm gonna pay $100. Don't know where I'm gonna pay the $100. I'll pay $100.
Yeah, the scammer was probably hoping I would just like. Actually, the way I figured out he hadn't paid was because I was going to print the label. And then I found out he didn't pay. So I was this close to losing it. Like, he was probably hoping that I screwed up and I would ship it, not knowing he didn't pay.
So you almost did lose it, or almost? Yeah, you almost did lose it, basically.
Yeah, I almost did lose it, but thankfully I noticed he didn't pay. It's very easy because eBay gives you notifications. Like, in fact, they almost stop you from trying to print the label until you receive payment.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, they just don't let you print it until you get payment?
Oh, they let you print it, but they kind of bury the option in like, your list of actions. Until they pay, and then they're like, in a big blue button, they say, oh, time to ship. So anyways, the representative on the eBay that I actually called eBay, and the woman I got on the phone explained to me, you know what, just cancel it, go, you don't even have to file an unpaid item case. I'm like, but what happens if he tries to leave negative feedback? Then call us back, we'll handle it. So I went, I canceled the order, the buyer never did anything. And I still have the game for sale. As of now. What were you going to say?
I only ever bought one thing off of eBay.
What was that?
Back in the late 90s, early 2000s. It was...
Oh, back when it was launched.
It was all 7 seasons of Boy Meets World on the VHS. Some guy recorded on his VHS thing.
Oh wow! So he bought bootlegs.
Yeah, I don't say bootleg. I guess they were bootlegs, I guess. But he recorded them on his TV, all 7 seasons, on ABC and Disney on VHS. You know, and just edited them together and made a 7 season. This is before you know the time where they sold it on DVDs and stuff. So the only way to get it was to record it yourself. And I bought the whole series. I now own it all. I now have the whole series. I later bought DVDs myself at the stores, but at the time where you get it was VHS.
That's actually the way that a lot of Disney cartoons have survived to today, because since a lot of them don't have DVD releases, a lot of the available ways to watch them are through VHS or DVD rips from recordings of when they were still airing.
Yeah. So you're saying?
Yeah, but that's the end of that scam story.
Yeah.
And there's one more story I can recall. The one time I got scammed big time by an Amazon seller. So, back in like 2011, no, not that early, like 2014, because I had my 360 by then. I was trying to buy... Do I have it on my shelf? Oh, I do. I was trying to buy this game, X-Men the Official Game, which came out to promote the 3rd movie, X-Men The Last Stand. Notably, this game actually has Hydra in it. So, basically, this was like just a couple of years before X-Men, Marvel kind of disowned X-Men and Fantastic Four because 20th Century has the rights.
Alright, I'm back.
So yeah, I was trying to buy that game, and copies of the 360 version were always floating at like $20, and I thought that was too much.
Alright, there's
Eventually, actually let me go to my Amazon order page, because I could actually track it down. So, eventually, there was this one seller who listed a copy of the 360 version for about $7 plus ship, which included shipping. And I was like, oh, that's a pretty good price. I have a little bit of money left from one of my Amazon gift cards for Christmas, so I think I should get it. So I bought it. It was advertised as coming complete. And yeah, so I just waited for it to come. And alright, where is it? So I was waiting for it, and then I noticed a couple of days later I got an email noting it was shipped out. Alright, that's a good sign, right?
Yep.
Wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong.
It never arrives.
Yep. Oh, here we are. The game cost $3.69 plus $4 shipping. So, yeah, even though it was marked as shipped, there were never any more tracking updates. After like 2-3 weeks, I messaged the seller numerous times asking where it was, never got a response.
I never understood that. How can shipping be more than the actual product?
Well, it's because on Amazon the default price for third-party sellers is $4. The default shipping price for games is $4. You'll see a lot of cheap games being sold on Amazon for 1 cent plus the $4 shipping.
What? That's fucking stupid.
Yeah. It's got me a lot of the games I have, though.
The 1 cent ones?
Yeah, some of the ones I spent 1 cent on because they were so common.
So you paid. So technically, you paid $4.01.
$4 because it was $3.99 shipping.
Oh my god.
So,
well,
eventually I contacted Amazon. Oh my god.
Technically, it is $4.01 because typically we round $3.99 or whatever 99 to the full number. So $3.99 would be 4. Therefore, for 1 cent.
Whatever. So it accumulated with me emailing Amazon asking for help. Like, can they basically hold the seller up at gunpoint and make him tell me about the item? All they did was send the seller an email saying, please update the customer on the location of his item. And not even that got him to budge.
Wow.
Eventually, in order to get my money back, I had to file a claim.
And did you?
I did file a claim, and I don't remember how it worked. Like, I think I filed a claim to get my money back, and essentially the seller would have to take action and basically verify that the game was going to reach me in order to prevent the money from being taken from his account and put back into mine. He took no action. And I got my money back, thank God. And I'm going to pull the game out again. Never again did I ever see a copy of the game for that cheap on Amazon. Eventually, I came across this copy at my local GameStop for $10. Well, $9 if you count the fact that I have Power-Up rewards. And it's complete, so. But meanwhile, there was a digital version of it available on Xbox Live. alongside a couple of Spider-Man games, and I think a few other X-Men games too. But they had just gotten delisted around the time I was trying to buy it from Amazon, and I remember they were basically doing a big going-away sale for it, and they were selling the digital version for $1. Then again, I do like having physical copies because obviously they have value. Especially as time goes by. In fact, while we're at it, I actually left negative feedback on this guy. Not that it mattered, because it looks like he completely retired from selling. Like, he basically, his last few buyers, he just left all those listings up, and he basically took the money and ran. And there were several buyers that were posting one-star reviews saying that they had to file a claim with Amazon to get their money back because the guy would not respond.
Was this
Meanwhile,
after,
would you like to know what feedback I left for him?
Sure, was this after you or before you?
Both before and after. Alright, so here's the feedback I left for the idiot. The game I ordered has yet to arrive, and I doubt it will at this point, and the seller never responded to my emails questioning what happened to the game. One of the most unpleasant experiences I've had with buying games on Amazon yet.
Wow.
I should have tweaked that to where it said the most unpleasant experience.
Well, I mean, you could always have a really bad experience worse than that in the future. You never know.
Yeah, but generally I'm very paranoid about listings I look at, both Amazon and eBay. And here's the thing. The way that eBay requires sellers to have a photo of the item they're selling on their listings, whereas Amazon doesn't require that, that's actually caused me to shift most of my online game buying to eBay as opposed to Amazon. I mean, I'll still buy from Amazon if I see a good deal.
Do you ever do auctions on eBay or just buyouts?
I've never done an auction because I'm afraid that if I start an auction for $1, there's gonna be like no buyers, and then I have to sell it for an unreasonably cheap price.
I'm not buying stuff.
Oh, have I taken part in auctions? Oh yeah, I have. Most recently, I have to go into my shelf again.
Next shelf. They both start with SH.
Schnick show. Oh my god, hang on. Where the frick is this?
You wanna know an idea I've had for digital games?
What?
Make a custom case for it. So then you could at least have something somewhat close.
Oops. So most recently I took part in an auction in order to get a new manual for this game. Because this game right here, I lost the manual years ago. And now, because I won that auction, this game looks nice once again.
Manuals. The thing most games don't have anymore. A lot of games.
Well, thing is, I'm anal about my PS1 and Dreamcast games having manuals because they're basically the front cover art.
Yeah.
But yeah, this here's Buzz Lightyear Star Command based on the spin-off TV series that Toy Story got.
A TV series? What the hell?
Yeah, like, basically it follows the adventures of the real Buzz Lightyear that inspired the toy Buzz Lightyear in the movies.
What? God damn it.
Question. Would you consider somebody wasting your time also a scam, or just that was only that was money?
Oh my god, get out! Fucking Toy Story.
Is it considered a scam if they waste time rather than get your money?
That's my copy of Toy Story 2. It's another manual I won an auction on. The truth is, I have my old Toy Story 2 manual, but the cover fell off, so it's literally just the book.
Wow.
So, is that a scam too or not?
No, that's not a scam. But yeah, the thing with people sell replacement manuals for collectors all the time. But oh, hang on.
Well, if they're trying to waste time on purpose, then I mean, I guess it wouldn't really be defined as a true scam. But
yeah, like it would be just that. It's the time.
Because,
but
fine, go on.
Well, sorry, it's just I didn't really get to finish the auction thing. So yeah, I've taken part in several auctions on eBay with varying degrees of success. Like back in 2015, I kept trying to win auctions that had various bundles of games. Sometimes I would give up when the price got too high, or if a sniper took it right out from under me. Though, admittedly, I'm a self-admitted sniper myself, because oftentimes in the most popular auctions, that's what you have to do to win.
Yeah.
But those the auctions that for those manuals, I was literally the only bidder.
Oh wow.
So I was just able to sit back, relax, and wait until I won. I think the last proper game that I obtained from an auction was... Oh my god, get out of here! Was this game right here, Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles on the Dreamcast. Curiously, this auction too had it had a couple of bidders, but once I placed my bid, no one tried to outbid me.
Is that a sequel to Drunk Obi-Wan?
It's based on Episode 1, but unlike Drunk Obi-Wan, whatever that game was, this one's an arcade hack and slash.
Oh, so we don't get to hear Drunk Obi-Wan, what the fuck?
If I recall correctly, Obi-Wan doesn't talk that much in this game.
Oh, so he's Stoner... Wait. He's Stoner...
Not to mention, you don't have to play as Obi-Wan, you also play as Qui-Gon.
No, wait, no, let me rephrase. Stoner 1 Bongoni. There we go. It's hard to say, unlike Drunk Obi-Wan, but, I mean, if you want to really go the lazy route, you could just say Stoned Obi-Wan.
Well, anyways, it's too bad wasting time is considered a scam, because that topic would bring us to our next topic.
What it
does? For a few weeks, me and my friend, back at 96, in 10th grade, me and my friends were planning this trip to the mall, because, teenagers in the mall and stuff, like the mall back then. It was a big deal for me, because it was the first time I was going to go there without adult supervision. Not by myself, with my friends, I was excited about it.
Yeah.
We were going to get the RTA down there, right at Dayton Mall and stuff. Then, all of a sudden, after school with my friend, and he was like another kid, and they just ran away from me. They kept on running, never... I wasted 2 hours, trying to catch up with them. They just, I don't know, they scanned me or what, but they just ditched me, I guess, and wasted my time because I had planned to go there. I could have done other things instead of fucking wasting my time for 2 hours at school waiting after school. Go somewhere I never got to go to. I never got to go to myself until 3 years later when I was in college. That I didn't care.
Wow.
But yeah, I say they I don't say they.
So they ditched you in the mall?
They ditched me at school.
Oh.
I don't know if they went or not, but they talk about let's go, and then I built the whole thing up. You know, and like scam me out of my time.
Those are some fucking assholes, dude.
Like I said, that brings us to our other topic, the school tales.
On that topic, like, I've discussed numerous times how I hated eating in the cafeteria in high school, and that's why I would always find alternatives just to stay out of there. I remember once, there was this period when I was eating inside the, band room, because I was part of the marching band, and eventually the band teacher, because he was annoyed by how people would ruin instruments by eating food and not rinsing their mouths properly, he would forbid people from directly eating in the band room. Like it was also like discipline problems too. And at one point, my mom never knew about most of the stuff I did during lunch. I mean, she knew about the instance with Xbox fanboy, penguin walking man, slamming my head into the desk. But let's see. At one point, I asked the band teacher, like, I don't like eating in the cafeteria, what do I do? And then he's like, he goes to, like, two of the captains. Like, I think he asked the drum major, I think it was called, basically the conductor for the band on the field. And he also asked the captain of the woodwinds if I could sit with them at lunch, and they agreed to it. I follow them to the lunchroom. They abandon me the first chance they get.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Well, then
they
why answered yes?
Probably to save face with the teacher. Like, literally, they walked up to a crowded table where all these seniors were sitting, and they're like, "Oh, hey, what's up, man?" And they immediately just jump in, and there's, like, no empty seats.
Wow. What the fuck? You don't say yes when you don't want it.
I remembered, actually, that reminds me, like, most of the time, kids aren't stupid. Like, they just say yes just to save face. I remembered in my Spanish class in freshman year of college, there was this one older woman who was, like, she was like in her late 20s, early 30s, I believe, and she acted miserable all the time. And at one point, we needed to do a group activity, and no one wanted to work with me. So eventually the teacher goes up to this woman, she's like, in Spanish, she says, "Do you want to work with Nicholas?"
Oh no, not in Spanish.
Yeah, she says it in Spanish, and then the woman angrily shouts, "No."
What the fuck?
Like, that's one of the only times, like, when I needed something and a teacher tried to help me get it, and whoever they asked said no outright. Like, all other times, they would just say yes to save face and then just proceed not to do it.
Wow.
But, yeah.
Yeah. And I think in my senior year of lunch, I stopped eating lunch. Maybe once a week I ate lunch. Usually, I went to the library and just pocketed the lunch money.
Oh, you just pocketed the lunch money? What'd you set it up for? Nothing?
So, pretty much. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's like, if I was not hungry, I didn't hang out. I just went to the library on the computer.
See, at my high school, then again, I don't think anyone would stop. No, not at my high school. Like, in middle school, they would stop me. In elementary school, obviously. But at high school, like, it was basically on your own to walk to the lunchroom. But if you were out in the hallways, they would reprimand you. Doesn't help that sometimes I was forced to eat lunch out in the hallways.
Yeah, lunch in high school isn't that fun, really. Cause
Oh, no, it's not.
both in elementary and even middle school, after lunch you could go outside or go to play basketball at the field at the inside. If it was right, we went outside and did stuff outside, or we went to the field house and did stuff the thing. At elementary school, we had a playground, or we had in-game stuff to do if it was raining. But at high school, no more fun. Eat back to class.
Yeah, for me, it was like elementary school. You have your lunch at... Actually, to be... Wait, no. You had your lunch, but you couldn't... I don't think you could go outside. I'm pretty sure that there was like a specific time separately for playing outside for a little bit, aka recess. And then middle school, you could go outside, but, I mean, there's not really too much to do. Though there was a track that you could run on, surprisingly. I also remember there being a fucking sandbox for some reason. Like, I'm not even joking. There was a literal sandbox next to the track and field. You had to go down, like, a quarter way before you could reach it. And I didn't really understand why there was a sandbox there.
That's more like an elementary school thing, too. Sandboxes for elementary school kids.
Yeah, I think you could play...
None of my schools ever had a sandbox or anything like that.
Yeah, I still don't know why they have that, but apparently they do. And I think you might have been able to play basketball, but you need your own basketballs to do it. And then high school, well, my old high school at least, you could... Oh, wait a minute! No, I went to 2 different middle schools. I need to bring up the other middle school. Okay, the other one with the sandbox was the first middle school. The second middle school, let me think. You know what? I can't really remember too much about my second middle school. I don't remember being outside a lot during lunch, actually. So, either A, I chose not to go outside, or B, it was not an option. Then my old high school. So, my old high school is basically a huge cafeteria, like freaking huge, and, well, you can go outside, except, well, since this is in Colorado, if it was like snowy or whatever, then people were forced to stay inside, and, during those days, it got fucking packed in, but not nearly as bad as my current high school's cafeteria. But otherwise, if people were allowed to go outside, it was actually kind of roomy in the cafeteria, surprisingly. The outside area was freaking huge. Like, there was a lot of grass, and, I mean, there was mostly squares in grass, but, I mean, it was a freaking huge outside area you could go to. Hell, you could even sit at tables outside, though there weren't enough tables for, like, the majority of the people there to actually eat. Just, like, I mean, there was a good handful, I guess. And that was pretty cool. And there was also huge windows, too, so you could see through it pretty clearly. And, to be honest, if you were to go in the cafeteria early in the morning, or... No, early in the morning during winter time when it was snowy. Oh my god, it looked fucking awesome. Mainly because, I guess, of the fact that since there's daylight savings times and things go differently depending on if it's savings time or not. I don't remember when, but during the section where if I were to get up, the sun wouldn't be fully up by the time I got to school, it would look fucking amazing. Like, oh my god, it looks really cool. But yeah. And then my current high school. My current high school's cafeteria fucking sucks. Like, ass. Like, I'm not fucking joking around. So, we had 2 different cafeterias. We had the old cafeteria that was recently taken down, and a new cafeteria that's been recently built. The old cafeteria sucked because it was basically built around the time the school was built, so it was a really old building. and it was freaking small. Like, I don't understand why it was. I didn't understand why it was so small for the amount of people that went there. I don't know if it's because there was just a jump in how many people or students go there, or what. But it was not a very big cafeteria, to say the least. It was always crowded during lunch, and I mean always crowded. And by the way, I don't know about elementary and my middle schools, but my high school, I'm pretty sure my high school had every student go to lunch at the same time. My current high school, however, is broken down into 2 lunch periods, and even then, even when the amount of people have been cut down to a certain amount, the fucking cafeteria is still crowded. Like, it's to the point where you either try to get there as fast as possible and try to get through the lunch line as fast as possible and get a seat as fast as possible, but also having to deal with the crampedness, or just say fuck that and actually eat outside. Which, I guess outside is, I mean, it's okay sized. It's not anywhere close to my old high school size, but I mean, it's doable for, I don't know, tossing a football around or something. But there's actually quite a bunch of people outside, surprisingly. And
well, a lot of people like enjoying the outdoors.
Well, no, here's the problem, though. When I mean the cafeteria is packed and it's small, I literally mean that if you were to take every single person during that lunch hour and try and fit them in the cafeteria, the seats would be already filled, and that wouldn't even cover most of the people in the lunch hour. There would still be a ton of people, that to the point where it actually overpowers the amount of people that are sitting at the tables that would either be standing or sitting on the floors. That's how many people there are. And then eventually the cafeteria got taken down because it was getting run down, I guess, and it just needed to be replaced. It was okay. Here was the plan. The plan was to make it bigger than the previous cafeteria. They take it down near the end of the year, but the year is still going. So that meant that everyone had to go through a different section of the school, which wasn't really that big of a deal, I guess. Get their lunch through that different section, and then everyone had to eat outside. And it wasn't really that crowded outside. I mean, it was definitely, there was a lot more people, you could tell, but I mean, you could still get seats. It wasn't really that big of a problem. And then we dealt with that for the rest of the year. And then next year comes, the new cafeteria has been built. And
yeah,
here's the problem. They spend a whole lot of money making a new building after taking down the previous building, and while it looks bigger, you'd still probably fit the same amount of people you fit in the tables before the previous one got taken down. I mean, there's a lot more room for people to sit on floors, but I mean, in terms of how many tables there are, there's probably about the same amount as there was before. So, literally, they made a whole building just to make it look nicer, is what really happened. Oh, and one other thing. The reason why it sucked to sit and eat outside is because there's a bee problem, since they give us like a styrofoam cup and we can actually get drinks.
I'm in the conference.
Okay, well anyways, you could get these drinks, and last year they had stuff like Crush Orange, but not anymore. They have like Powerade and stuff like that. But because of those drinks, it attracted bees, and there was a lot of bees. Like, you would see bees swarming a trash can. It was that bad. And, well, this year they changed this on. They didn't have that going on until the end of this month, when the fucking temperature cools down. Except, guess what? I still find a couple bees every now and then. And also, the temperature has not really dropped that much at all yet. So, I don't know when the fuck it's dropping to the point where it actually...
Same goes for me. The temperature is still, like, in the 70s.
Yeah, me too. Were these normal bees, or were these African bees?
Oh, if they were African bees, I wouldn't even be outside at that point. Because African bees are fucking scary.
So I think you lived in that. I don't know if you lived in that area where they were swarming a few years ago or not. Phoenix.
Well, no. These are normal bees. I mean, they look like
all the more reason I'm happy to be living up north, because African bees can't survive the cold.
Yeah, and oh, speaking of temperature, I bet you right now in Colorado it's probably really cold right now. Because that's how it is usually.
Did you live in the mountains or the valley?
Right now?
Well, in Colorado.
Great.
Well, I mean, I thought technically Colorado was in, like, a mountainous area, unless I just don't understand that. I don't know. You could see mountains, but I guess I would define it more as a valley, since temperature gets even worse if you go in a mountain.
Just a warning, I'm gonna be stepping out for a couple of minutes because baby is very impatient.
Yeah, he's gotta prescribe your baby's kisses.
Yeah, he was kissing me while you were talking about the lunchroom.
He hasn't had
and now he's whining at me, and I think that's a sign he wants to go out. And he just lifted his head, so therefore I have to take him. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Keep telling your story.
Have fun with the baby. So, but yeah, it's most likely colder than normal in Colorado right now, and I define normal as whatever summer temperature it was. And, well, I wouldn't say it was starts snowing right about now, but yeah, I guess it's getting close to starting to snow. But yeah, basically answering your question, I define it more as a valley-ish area. Well, not ish. Sorry.
Well, but like reminds me of my school recess a little bit. My elementary school, our we had playground. In elementary school, we had playgrounds, and it pretty much semicircled the whole school. The younger kids were in the front area, the smaller equipment, like little small baby slides, you know, and not really baby slides, but you know, not that tall.
Yeah.
Then the further you run back, the equipment got bigger and bigger and bigger until you got to like the back was a more open blacktop area, maybe a few swings, a few slides, but mostly stuff, you know, for basketball stuff, and the girls playing the jump rope games, you know, girls doing jump rope games, and like basketball hoops and stuff.
Yeah.
But for kind of I think kindergarten only went out once a day because, well, mainly because we only had half days back then in kindergarten. I didn't have full days. And then the older kids, first through second, third grade, maybe got two or three recesses, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, maybe, and then one at lunchtime. But the older classes only got two. Fourth grade only got maybe two, because they got less recess, I guess, because, you know, we're older now. Got to narrow it down a bit. But cafeteria-wise, our cafeteria at my elementary school, at Hillkey Elementary, was the cafeteria and the gym room and the auditorium all in one room. It was all, we had a three-part room.
My God.
We played gym down there, and then we also ate down there. And during the auditorium, we either had to bring our chairs with us to the auditorium, you know, or if you're younger, we sat on the floor, because we made it sit on the floor. But then older kids, you know, we had to carry our chairs with us down there for us to sit in. But yeah, but for lunch, it was assigned seats. not say assigned seats. The people, we went down in the line to the thing. We got their food in a line, and then they made us, you go here, you go here, you go here. Like whoever we were saying next to in line was who we sat next to at the tables, because they filled them all up. You know, at middle school for lunch, it was pretty much sit where we want to sit. Same with high school. Because we still go in line, and we'd find a seat for our friends, even if we weren't standing next to each other. I forgot to say, for elementary again, if it was raining, we went back to, after we ate. We went back to our classroom, our homeroom, and then we played board games, like Hangman or Monopoly, or we played cards, or we just hung out in the in a room playing Heads Up 7-Up or something like that. We played these games.
Yeah.
At middle school, we went outside. No playground, obviously, in middle school. But like I said, there was track, baseball diamond. We could walk on the field, talk whatever outside. We could play basketball or baseball or volleyball. Or if it was raining, there's another building called the Field House where we went. Like it's kind of like a sports stadium, like say sports stadium for middle schoolers, I guess, where there's a basketball court on the bottom, in the middle, endless bleachers or whatever around it. Some kids play basketball down there. I usually just sat up on those bleachers with my friends, talking to them, or writing a book. I used to write stories all the time of fictional adventures. I did that. In high school, same thing. In middle school, cafeteria was the same. But after that, I pretty much wandered the halls for 20 minutes. After 15 minutes, just wandered the hall. We could wander the halls because, or went to the library. Same thing with JVS. If I with the lunch, just went there, wandered the halls. We walked around, or the entire campus. One time, me and my friend went from the one campus to the other campus and back again during our lunch period because we were just bored. But yeah, that was our lunch and recesses and my 4 schools.
Wow. I actually remembered something. Before I mentioned that in my second middle school, I don't remember being outside. Scratch that. While you were talking, I actually remembered something. I remember that there was a area that we could go for during lunch, and I don't remember exactly how big it was, but I remember that I was able to go to this. Oh, wait a minute! No, now I'm remembering more things as I'm talking. Oh my god. Okay, well, since I remember this new detail, basically you would go outside, and I think the first thing you would see is a basketball area and also a tennis area that you were able to actually go in and play tennis, though I'm assuming... well, I don't know if they let us, actually, but if they did, I'm pretty sure that we were supposed to have our own equipment because they didn't provide it. And, you go down a bit further, and it's kind of a big area, actually, but you go down a bit further and you'd find a grassy area, and you'd have this steep hill that, I mean, it was steep to make it a bit more challenging to climb up, but it wasn't too steep for you to actually lay on. And it was actually a cool hill because you're able to go on the top of the hill and you could roll down the hill, and I mean, if you really wanted to do that, which I did, and we did stuff like that. We laid on it, and it was a really cool hill, actually. And if you were to go on the top of the hill, you'd actually find a track. Though, actually, I don't think we were allowed to go on the track, though, because it was too big of an area. So yeah, that's what I remember from my second middle school. So yeah, we were able to go outside there. I met some really, let's say, interesting friends in middle school. I mean, they weren't... I'm not saying that in a bad way either. But, yeah, there was interesting people I met.
Yeah, my middle school and schools were weird too, like, weird. Because we had, where I went, we had, I was different now, I looked up. We had 3 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, and 1 high school. The elementary schools were Dimmitt, Helke, and Merlin. I went to Helke. Now, from what except for the people who went to private schools, you know, there for years. As far as I know, everyone that went to Dimmitt went to Morton Middle School. Everyone that went to Merlin went to Smith Middle School. But us at Helke, since we were divided up a little bit, apparently half of us went to Morton, was where I went, and the other half of us went to Smith. So they got divided up a bit. So other friends we made at Helke, you know, we lost track with for 4 years, and then when we get 4 years later we came up together at Butler. Most of us were totally different people, because I had spent 4 years hanging out with the Dimmitt people, you know, in Morton, and they spent 4 years hanging out with the Moreland people at Smith, and the time we got back together at Butler High School, some of us, you know, like those from 10 to 14 apparently, some of us like totally different people. Also a funny thing I remembered in school, I don't know if this is before, I probably did, but I remember in 4th grade we seemed like we were so big, you know, like, oh wow, we're big kids, you know, and stuff. And then one day in 5th grade next year we had a fire drill. We're outside. Yeah, fire drills, those were fun. And I looked around, I'm like, oh my god, these kids are so big. Everyone's like giants to us now. Like before, like the year before, we were like, we're so big. Oh, these kids are so small. Next year, like, oh my god, everyone's big.
I remember one time in the first middle school where we had these seats, and they're for the most part normal seats, except these ones were different. We had a bar on one side, so you could only enter and exit one way, and we had like a little basket under the seat, so I guess you could put some stuff under there. And I remember one moment in particular where we had a fire drill, and you know how the sirens are loud and shit? Like, to the point where in the actual buildings they blast in your ears?
Yeah.
Well, no joke, there was one time where the fire drill went off, and it freaked me out. Like, it made me had an initial freak out so bad that instead of just, you know, doing something like covering your ears or, you know, getting up or even just kind of having like a shake moment because you didn't expect it, no, I freaking do this on reaction. I use my hands. I don't know how I would do it with the seat I had, but since I have this chair with armrests here, I'm just going to use this as an example. But basically, I took my hands, I put them where I could, and I lifted myself up, I put my feet on the seat, and then I jumped over the bar and just stood up from that point. So, in other words, I got up with style in reaction to a fire drill. I don't even know how. I don't know how that's even possible, but yeah, that's apparently what I did. I don't think anyone else did that before. Well, maybe, but that's not something you'd see every day. That's certainly something that's you wouldn't do every day either.
Yeah. What about you, Stick? Do you have any recess tales from middle school or elementary school?
Oh, recess. Well, we didn't have recess in middle school, but there was one incident when my middle school in 8th grade decided to do a trial run of a field day, because field day we had in elementary school, where basically all the classes would compete in, like, little Olympic-style events, like freaking... Like, what is that bag you have to go into and you have to, like, jump across the field?
Potato sack races?
Oh, potato sack races, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we had to do that. I'm pretty sure there was a tug of war once. So yeah, that's what we did in elementary school. My middle school decided to do a little experiment with us 8th graders where we had to test out a very similar style field day. And it worked out well. We did really good. And then we all crowded back inside the gym. And this is where chaos ensued. To congratulate us for our efforts, the teachers decided to reward everyone with bottles. Everyone went insane.
Oh my god.
Everyone was like trampling each other in order to get a hold of some water. I remembered I walked up to a teacher who was giving out some water, and I didn't realize this, but she angrily shouted at me, "Get in line!"
The fuck?
And then I see right next to me there's a bit of a line that formed.
Oh wow.
So I just decided to pass on the water, and then eventually I actually got trampled by a couple of kids trying to get water.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, so I kind of curled up in a corner, like, not in a corner, but like against the wall. The principal had to come in, and she had to basically reprimand everyone for their behavior.
Oh, by the way, we have life in the chat now.
Yep.
Really?
Chloe says, "Hi NBC, this is Keemstar reporting live at a desk."
Oh.
Hey.
Oh, wow.
Apparently Chloe's our on-the-field reporter.
Wow. Well, anyways, so the principal had to once again reaffirm how our field day experiment was a success, and she kept telling us not to ruin it, not to ruin it, not to ruin it with our freaking water freak out. So slowly all us 8th graders started filing out except me. I just stayed curled up against the wall. I think I was being a little over dramatic. But this is middle school schnick we're talking about. Eventually the principal came. The principal liked me. She came, she realized that she let me go to the water fountain to get a drink, and then she walked me back to the class I had to go to.
Wow.
Let's see. Are there any recess stories that I can tell? Oh, yeah! From the same mind that brought you. Ooh, that was so cool!
What? Oh, wait.
What you did.
Wait, wait, I'm confused now. Who's doing what?
From the same mind who brought you the frickin' leaving class abruptly to go do that.
Oh, I remember a leaving class abruptly story that I could tell. And also a field day story I could tell too.
Yeah. Well, let's see. So, there was a SpongeBob PC game I played called SpongeBob Employee of the Month. It was basically kind of think Monkey Island or Grim Fandango, like an old LucasArts adventure game. Like, that's what it was. I played it a lot when I was a kid. I'm not sure if I could play it on my current computer. Chances are I can, because I still have the disc and I would just have to install it. Or maybe not, because I do have a Windows 7 machine. And I think it was designed for Windows 2000 and Windows XP. But there's one point where you have to get some item from Larry the Lobster, and at one point, there's a dialogue you can ask him saying, where Sponge can ask, "Oh, how do I get big and strong like you?" The first thing Larry responds with, "First, you have to get up at 4 a.m. each morning and go for a 10-mile run." So, at recess one day, I was actually kind of getting fat at that point because this was 3rd grade. As soon as we walked out, I told a retarded thing to my teacher, saying, "I'm gonna spend this recess going on a 10-mile run." And her response was, "But that would take more than an hour."
Wait, does it?
To run up, well,
I don't know.
when at my elementary school, they had us do, like, an event they have at both my elementary school and middle school was that they, as like a fitness requirement, they had every single kid do what's called the mile run, where they basically had to run laps around the field until they ran the distance that was equivalent to a mile. The fastest kids did it in like 9 to 10 minutes, maybe even faster, like maybe 6 or 7 minutes. And the slowest kids did, kind of like me, did it in like 15, 20 minutes. In fact, I think the record I had was like just above 10 minutes, which was, and in my elementary school, they had these freaking leaderboards for boys and girls in like the different grades. I think for my grade at the time, 4th grade, I was this close to being a bit faster than the lowest ranked girl. Like, it was top 10. Like, I think I had like 10 minutes, 2 seconds or something like that. She had like 9 minutes and 55 seconds.
Wow.
But yeah, so I foolishly said I was going to go on a 10-mile run. Then, I just thought of another recess story that actually kind of involves my dad.
Your dad?
Well, when my dad gets involved, let's just say we weren't at recess. I was in the car in New York City as my sister was being driven to dancing class. So, at the playground at my elementary school, this was 5th grade, I believe. The inside of the slide was graffitied with all these curse words and basically bad language.
Yeah.
Like the C word appeared, and like I remember one specifically said the C word, mother, fuck.
What?
Like, it was just incoherent swearing.
Okay.
And at one point, I noticed when I went down the slide, sometimes I would go down the slide slowly just to read all of them. And at one point, I read, "Because I hate N-words. Fuck.
Oh my god.
You know what my first thought was? Retarded little me.
Oh no. Oh.
Why does he hate chicken nuggets?
Oh my god!
Chicken nuggets?
I was that oblivious.
No. I call me. Something I'm not getting at, obviously.
Oh my god, I'm on the floor. I'm on the floor.
Oh my god. Eventually, I just started saying all the words I read in that slide out loud. And while I was in the car, being driven by my dad as he was taking my sister to her dancing class, I said exactly what was read on that slide. I said the N-word in front of my dad. He's like, "Don't say that!"
What?
Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Oh my god.
Yeah. He told me what the word really meant. It was meant to be an insult. And I gladly... And then at that point, I knew. And sure, I acted really retarded at times in elementary school and middle school. But I still had a heart. If I was told something was wrong, I would stop, and I stopped. So basically, it's not so much I was an idiot that believed everything that was written in that slide. It's just I was oblivious.
It's weird. Speaking of that, of racism and stuff, I honestly, I might have been naive back then. But honestly, in the 80s and 90s, when I was growing up, for it's where I was growing up at, I thought racism was over with for a while, really, and sexism, because we had black kids at our school, and girls did stuff at our school, no problem, and like, hey, I guess it's over with now, because no one's talking about it anymore. So like, it's been 20 years since the 60s, like 30 years from the 60s, I was like, hey. I guess it's not happening anymore. All of a sudden, 2000s. All of a sudden, I'm hearing about it again. I'm an adult now. Oh, it's still a thing now. I'm like, what? I thought we solved that problem. I was like naive, I guess. Either I was naive, or I guess it was gone for 10, 20 years, I guess, or maybe there's no mass media, no one talked about it, no internet.
Oh my god.
Oh, we kids. My kids are at our school. We go to our school, so it's no problem. It's over with now.
Watching your reaction, what doesn't help matters is that a couple of other kids went down the slide and saw the words too, and they were just as oblivious as me, and they agreed with me.
Oh
that was about chicken.
Oh my god, we were indirectly the biggest frickin' idiots because of that crap.
Fucking getting interrupted.
We take a slur and we think it's a stereotype of the same thing.
Schneck, I swear to fucking god. I think you saying that and thinking that as a kid was probably the best thing I ever heard you say.
The best thing? Oh my god, obviously I wouldn't reinforce that nowadays, but freaking retarded elementary school me, yeah.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ, I don't want to get accusations.
I mean, I'm not saying it's the best thing as in you should keep saying it, but the best thing as in it made me fucking laugh really hard. So
that's the best story you've heard in elementary school so far?
Yes, the best story.
Oh my god. Like, that's how ignorant I was to things back then. Like, all I cared about was watching stupid comedy on TV, cartoons. Oh, and playing PlayStation 2. Games based off that stupid cartoon stuff. Well, not all of it was... Very little of it was stupid, but still.
I mean,
don't forget, I went to go see a lot of shitty movies when I was a kid.
I think it's mainly funny because of just the chance of you even thinking that in the first place. Like, the odds of you thinking that are real slim.
That is the first thought, I think it's because of the way the N-word is similarly spelled. I can't even...
Oh, yeah,
like,
I guess.
Let's just say that when my dad told me the true meaning, like, I actually felt a little disgusted on the inside, even back then.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Meanwhile, would you like to... Oh, you said you had your own field day story and your own leaving class abruptly story, but would you like to know something super retarded I did in 3rd grade?
Sure.
Always.
So, I don't know why. Do you know the movie Split that came out earlier this year?
Never heard of it.
Me either.
It's basically a movie where 3 high school girls get abducted by...
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they get abducted by a guy who basically has multiple personality disorder.
Oh.
Where he has like 22 different minds inside of him.
Is this a comedy?
No, it's horror.
Horror. Yes.
Horror comedy?
It's a bit... I mean, the way he acts a little... One of his minds is him pretending to be a 9-year-old kid.
Yes.
What? Oh,
real fast.
Yeah.
Some people consider that a legitimate disease. It's called DID, dissociative identity disorder. Other people think it's a scam. Some people think it's a real disease. Or also known as multiple personalities, is where your mind, if you can't handle something, apparently you create another personality to handle it for you, and you're like fractured.
Oh, wait a minute. That's kind of like how my reaction was to Shut Ops 3, where it's like I changed into a fucking different person momentarily.
It's mostly...
And when Brandon changed into a different person when he broke Shrek on Xbox.
It's mainly like from what I've read about it, for people that actually consider it a real disease. It's like, say, as a child, you were abused as a child, sexually abused as a child, and you couldn't handle it, so you pretend you're someone else. You pretend you're somebody else.
Yeah, you basically made yourself an imaginary friend.
And then later on...
And truth is, spoilers, in Split, that's basically the reason why he's like that, because he was abused by his OCD mom.
And then later on, as you get older in life, whenever you get stressful situations, you go back to that personality. You can't help yourself. You regress inside yourself and have him handle it for you until, that's your personality. For a while, you can't handle anything anymore. You just switch personalities. Some people think it's a real disease. Other people think it's a scam, fake, and people are pretending to be other people. I'm not sure what's this. I never met anybody that has it or had it myself, so I can't tell. But from what psychologists say, it's real. And doctors say.
It basically can become real because there's a lot of mental disorders that would cause such a thing. But the reason why I brought it up is because there was this weird phase in 3rd grade when I started acting like that.
Really?
Legit. There was this one phase where I'd be like, oh, on this day of the week, I just have to be normal Nick. Next day, I gotta be super cool dude Nick.
Yo.
No, seriously. I'm gonna cringe when I reenact this.
Oh no.
There's this point when I was selected alongside a couple other kids in my class to take part in basically a fitness activity in the gym. Like, we would go to the gym and basically we would do like a 30-minute exercise session.
Yeah.
And I think the idea was to keep us healthy. Eventually I ended up leaving only because gym teacher started reprimanding me like a drill instructor, and the main reason why was because there was this one move we had to do called the wheelbarrow, where basically we would have to hold the legs of one kid up and the other kid would have to walk with on their hands.
What the fuck? What? Wait, this is in elementary school, you said?
In elementary school. And literally, she required the wheelbarrow so many times every time we went, and I could never do it right.
Well,
it got to the point when she complained to my teacher, saying, it got to the point when she complained to my teacher, and my teacher called home about it. And this was just after I got my game privileges taken away. And I was regularly getting notes sent home.
Are you fucking kidding me? They actually expect elementary students to do that?
Yeah, they did.
Fuck? That's stupid.
And, so yeah, my ma had me, like, the thing with the notes I got sent home was that I had to write a response saying how I was going to do better anytime I got a bad note. And on the day I got the bad note for the fitness thing, I was like, oh, since I can't keep up with the class, I have to drop it, and I did drop it. But getting back to the cringe, there was this point when a couple of kids realized they had to go, and we all decided to rush out so we wouldn't be late. We had a substitute teacher that day. And this is what I did.
Oh no.
And so, I'll see you dudes later. Hand gestures and everything.
What? Oh my god. It's so bad, but I have to fucking laugh. It's like so bad
it's okay.
It's funny.
It's okay. Laugh. And then... and I could have sworn. Okay. So, are you listening, Mario,
yes.
or are you not there?
He's not there. He's paid the parents to tell the story of other people.
Okay, so Mario's gonna have to listen to this on the side. But there was a point when my ma kept getting these expensive dinners to this fancy restaurant for Thanksgiving every year, like it was like a buffet. And nothing beats home cooked Thanksgiving dinner, though. No, but on one particular day, it was time for Nick to be lovey-dovey Nick, where he would just randomly go up and try to hug his sister. And I acted like a complete creepster doing it. Like, you know the way I did it with my sister?
How?
I'm going to cringe, I'm sorry. I did it like this.
Wait, what? Wait, this is really weird without, like, context. What the fuck? Oh my god, that... All I understood from that was you doing that to your crying sister, and that's all I have. No context.
Number one, she was not crying.
Oh,
Number two... Yeah. Number two, I did it when we were standing in the parking lot of this restaurant we were going to have a Thanksgiving dinner at. And number three, when I tried doing it like the second or third time, she punched me in the face.
Why did you do that?
I'm sure you can vocalize the real reason.
What? Are you trying to get me to do that Emperor's New Groove shit again?
No. We all know. What does Shrek have?
Onions.
And
onions have layers! And that's what ogres are like. You're welcome.
Layers.
Yeah, that's the one explanation I could give you. I swear to God, and I think that one other split identity third grade retarded schnick tried having was one where you have all depressed.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh my god is right.
Can I tell my 2 stories real quick?
Go on.
So, the field day story. This is during elementary school. I think it might have been like the second to last or the last field day I'd have in that school, because I was getting, well, if it was the last one, then it would be close to graduating elementary. Oh, excuse me. So, okay. So, I was doing this race thing. I'm not sure what kind of race. It was probably blank meter dash. I don't remember if it was something like that, but it was probably that. Either that or it was a track run. Actually, no, I think it was a track race. But anyways, oh, and I don't think we had to go through the entire track. Probably just like a quarter of it, because we were only kids. But okay, so we were doing this race, and I was like pretty high up there, actually. Like, I want to say I was actually first, and I go up to get my reward, and it's not the reward I deserved. It's an even worse reward than I deserved. And I had eyewitnesses that could tell me, yeah, I was in the position I said I was, and that I should have earned the position that I was in. And I ended up not getting the correct reward. Not like it really mattered too much, but, I mean, at the time, for me, it mattered quite a bit, because, well, here's the thing about me. If I get real competitive and it doesn't really go my way, I get really upset about it. But if I don't get competitive and I don't win, then I'm not either as affected or affected by it at all, because I chose not to really care too much about it. But once I start caring, I better fucking win, otherwise I'm not going to be happy about losing. But during this time, I couldn't control that. So I would basically get competitive, and yeah, I would just get upset. And I was pretty upset about the fact that I did not get a reward that I didn't deserve. But again, not like it matters. And then, the walking out of class story. So, okay, I don't know how other people with glasses blow their noses, but if I'm gonna blow my nose, I'm always going to take off my glasses, right? And here's why. One day, I blew my nose, and this was during middle school. I think it was my second middle school. Or wait. No, I think it was my first. Well, anyways, so this was during middle school, and I decided to blow my nose, and I did not have glasses at this time. But what happened was, when I blew my nose, somehow, and I know this is going to sound gross, but the snot shot upwards somehow instead of going into the tissue. And apparently it got in my hair, of all fucking places. So I didn't notice this, and I sit down. The people across from me notices the snot on my hair, and I see it, and that's when I run out of the classroom. Like, I'm not joking. I run out of the classroom, goes to the nearest bathroom, and fucking pretty much gets it out of my hair. Even though I could have just gone back to the... Speaking of fucking blowing my nose, give me a... Ironically, I had to blow my nose as I'm telling the story. What the hell? I muted it and turned off my webcam for viewer convenience. Anyways, though, but yeah, when I came back, I was told by the teacher not to do that again. And, literally, I could have just gone back to tissues and just pulled it out that way, but no, I chose to run out of the classroom. And I mean, literally run out of the classroom, just so then I could, take it out with a mirror, I guess. And, yeah, ever since then, I tried not to have it go upwards, and, well, I guess I don't try now. I guess it was just a fluke that happened, but in case it ever did happen again, at least it won't get on my glasses, because they're going to be off. And also, I'm worried about fucking something. I guess marking my lenses. I'm worried about marking them somehow. I don't know. Wait a minute. Since we have only one other person in this group that wears glasses, Vandalia, do you blow your nose with your glasses on or off? Mike's muted. Mike's muted.
Hi.
Vandalia, something's wrong with your mic again. Oh. Okay, I can hear you now. Or, I think I do. Wait, what? I heard sound and then it disappeared again. What the hell?
There. Do you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you now, finally.
Stupid, cheap ass expensive mic.
Wow. That's fucking stupid.
Let me try one more time. Let's see. Alright, can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, now you improved your audio quality.
Anyways, usually I don't... First of all, the nose thing. Usually I don't have time to take my glasses off. Usually I grab a tissue or whatever near me, or a towel, just because I'm not in too big a hurry to... Because I got sneeze now, or get it out now. No time to take my glasses off.
Oh, you use a tissue when you sneeze?
Or tissue, towel, shirt, whatever.
Oh, okay.
Just grab the first thing I can see. Or a sleeve. Like...
Well, I mean... I wouldn't really count that as blowing a nose, but I mean, I guess some people would do that to sneeze, but I mean...
Usually I blow my nose after I sneeze, though.
Okay, fair enough, I guess, but...
Anyways...
I mean, after you sneeze, though, like when you're doing the nose blowing.
Just keep my glasses on.
Really?
Too much effort. I'm lazy.
Huh.
As for field days, I think from kindergarten, or not kindergarten, maybe kindergarten, I'm not sure, but first through 8th grade, we had, at the end of the year, we usually had field days. But also from 4th to 8th grade, sometime in the week, different days of the week, obviously, take at the same time. We went to we walked from our school to the nearby swimming pool, and we swam for the whole half day, whole day, like 3 or 4 hours at the pool. 45-minute times. Obviously, we had 15-minute breaks. Where we can swim. Yeah. We ate whatever, and we used to swam. 4th and 5th grade, I almost drowned there.
Damn.
4th, 5th grade, I stayed in the 4th grade, 5th grade, whatever it was. I went to the deep, not the deep end, but the deeper end. Pools I was at had 3 areas: shallowish, medium, and then the diving area. Never went to diving area.
So AKA, you had the shallow kind of area, and then the middle of the pool, and then the deep end.
Yeah, but it was roped off 3 different sections.
Oh, it was actually roped.
Like that rope, say rope, like a little tiny rope across the surface of the thing. Yeah, In the sixth grade, you know, I got braver. You know, went over there, stayed near the. I got swam a little bit. I couldn't swim very good in school. I stayed near the edge a little bit. I was stronger than I was in fourth, fifth grade. You know, I could swim a little bit better. But yeah, never dived. Still haven't dived yet.
Really?
Yeah, I had heights problems back then.
Yeah.
I never dived, and then
I dived before. Not too great heights, but I've dived. It's still scary nonetheless. But
yeah, we just swam for a bit and last week of school, and we had field days. It was cool. 8th grade, I started noticing girls in bikinis. But 7th, 8th grade, I'm like, hey, these girls are trying to look hot. But anyways, yeah, that was my field days in school. We did. I never really participated in field days. They did competitions, and I remember at elementary they had hula hoop competitions. How long could you hula hoop for?
Interesting.
So what time is it?
We have 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
About 9 minutes.
I just want to wrap it up before your parents come back and you have to leave.
My parents?
Yeah.
Oh, well, actually, as it turns out, I'm not going to that thing I mentioned.
Your grandparent thing?
Oh, my grandparents? Oh, yeah, they're still coming. I don't know when, but they are. And even then, it's like probably for a few minutes, and then I'll come back. But I mean,
okay, then
like I said, we have like 9 minutes, so it's gonna be over soon.
Okay, so
whatever.
Before we wrap it up, you have any final words to say about games and school tales?
Let me see if I can think of another retarded school story. All I can tell about... Oh, 2 things from 4th grade that I can recall.
Keep it short.
Okay, so the first story is that we were being read the book Sideways Stories from Wayside School, because, like, back in elementary school, we would always get books read to us, like, during reading time.
Yeah, that book and the sequel were read to us too. Yes.
Yeah, I was only ever read the first one, and then eventually I actually got a library card just to take the book from the library, and that was the only book I ever took. I returned it, and then I never got another book after. Oh,
speaking of that, sorry, remember you, but how I mentioned how my cafeteria, my gym class and auditorium were the same room.
Yeah.
At Helke, our library was literally the center of the school. All the classrooms and stuff in the cafeteria connected to the library. The library was the hub of the school.
Oh wow, that's an interesting concept.
So go on.
Okay, well, so yeah. Eventually, we reached the very specific chapter that the teacher was very excited to read us, and me, having read the book before, knew exactly what it was. Essentially, for those who didn't read the book, and, well, spoilers if you want to read the book, it's basically the chapter where the evil teacher from the start of the book comes back as a ghost.
Oh, yeah. This turned everyone into an apple teacher.
Yeah, the one who has turned into an apple and eaten. So, the teacher was like, you know what, this is a bit... He's like, boys and girls, this is a very good... Like, I don't think he said it like that. I think he was like, guys, this is a very good chapter. Maybe we could fit... Maybe we should stay for recess and finish the book. They all loudly shouted no. I actually was excited to hear him read the chapter, and I shouted yes.
Oh.
They all looked at me, and they're like, no! Yes! No! Yes! No!
Oh my
it's not reading time, it's recess time. Silly snick.
And then he gives me a look, like, basically feeling sorry that I'm the only one who has a lick of a brain, I guess. In his eyes, anyway. And he just looks at all the other kids with contemplation, and then he says, "Line leaders and door holders, line up."
Wow.
So yeah, we did eventually read it, but as you can tell, the kids had no enthusiasm. Because it's reading. Ooh.
Well, I mean, if kids aren't interested, then, I mean, good luck teaching them.
Yeah, to be fair to the other kids, you know, if sometimes when you're like stir crazy, you go outside, you know, it's probably even bad for the reading thing. I mean, I enjoy reading too, books, you know, but if I want to go outside, I'm going outside.
Yeah, I mean, that is fair, but still, that's like an example of how an entire class stood against me.
Now, if it was raining, obviously, you know, be like, oh, we go outside, too bad, it's raining. Story time.
Oh, that ties into the next story.
We have, like, about 4 minutes to do it.
Yeah, I can tell it in that time. So we were supposed to go on a field trip where we would literally do a nature hike in the woods. And I was actually very excited for that because I liked going on hikes. Well, I was in a phase where I liked doing that. Because, you know, like, explore, like, what the woods have. Like, following the trail just amused me for some reason. So, the night before, I wake up, and it is thundering and lightning bad. And I did not like thunderstorms back then, so it was a very tough sleep. And when I woke up, there was no more thunder and lightning, but it was still pouring down rain. So, my ma gives me a poncho to take on the trip. And then, when I get in the class, the teacher he seems to act like, oh yeah, it's a good thing you brought that. And then when the entire class comes, he's like, he points to, I don't know if he did this exactly, but he's like, do you see all that out there? He points to the window. That's why we're not going.
Wait,
and all the kids are like getting upset, and he's like, no, we're not. I'm sorry about our trip, but as you can see, it's raining out.
Oh.
We're going to have to reschedule the trip, but we'll still go. But today, we're just going to have a normal class.
Ew.
And then, here's where the bullshit comes in. So, the rescheduled date of the trip comes up. And we're all ready. We have our lunch. We have all our shit we need to bring for the hike. We all leave the class. We walk outside to the bus. He walks up to the bus driver. I don't know what the bus driver says to him, but he walks off. And then immediately after, a class of first graders boards the bus, and the bus drives away. At first, I was thinking, those first graders stole our bus. What'd we do? And we sit in the cafeteria for a little while. And keep in mind, this is just before lunch, so yeah. Then eventually another teacher comes in and starts talking to our teacher. She tells him, well, I overheard this. She tells him, oh, their porta potties are broken, so therefore they're not letting anybody in.
Wait, porta potties on a school bus?
No, at the place where the hike was supposed to be.
Oh.
So, the teacher leaves, and then our teacher comes up to us. Who needs to go to the bathroom? A couple of kids raised their hands. I even raised my hand a little cautiously. For no reason. And he says, that's why we're not going.
Wait, what?
Yeah, our trip was canceled because of broken toilets.
Okay, so there could have been a chance that they could have just taken the kids somewhere else for a bathroom. I
Probably.
guess. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know.
Oh.
So, yeah. Our trip got canceled, and then he even verbalizes to us, or he states to us, oh, first we're pouring rain, next we're broken toilets, I guess we're not going. And we never went.
Oh my god.
They lied to you.
That's ridiculous.
Well,
Later in the day, he tried to at least make it up to us by letting us go watch a spelling bee. But everyone misbehaved, and I even contributed to the misbehavior. You know why?
Why?
Because out of nowhere, this one kid I invited to my birthday party, that's another story for another day, by the way, birthday parties. He was a kid I invited, and he deliberately did not come to the party because he hated my guts. And, but he sarcastically pretended to be my friend, and he could not get it through my thick skull that he was not my friend. So randomly, for no reason, I got up and I started massaging his head.
Oh. What?
And he basically said, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, giving you a massage." And then, with all the talking alongside all the talking that was going on, the teacher was like, I give up. I give up. And when the class goes dead silent, he calls up the media center teacher that was inviting us to watch the spelling bee, and he's like, sorry, I'm going to have to decline the invitation. And one last story before we're out of time.
We are out of time.
We're out of time.
It's
Okay,
real quick.
no.
The final story. The final story that happened was that same kid, for no reason whatsoever, one of the last times I imitated a scene for something. There's a Rugrats episode called Reptar on Ice, and there's this one scene where Tommy is flung up in the air and Stu catches him. I started imitating the way Tommy is flung up by sitting up and down in my chair. And it came back to bite me in the ass, literally. Because the same kid who hated my guts, he kicked the chair out from under me as I was starting to sit down, and I went toppling over onto the floor. I busted my ass big time. And if I recall correctly, the sound of me falling was comparable to that of a bowling ball hitting bowling pins.
Damn.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Alright.
that's what I'm trying to say. I guess next week, obviously, we have more stories to tell for our school days because we have 12 years of experience in schools. Hopefully, me and Mario have more stories to tell.
Maybe.
Obviously, Stick has more stories to tell. Plus, other topics to talk about. So remember, don't get scammed on the internet or in real life. And if you have school stories to tell, tell in the comments below, and we'll see you next week, whatever that might be, whatever time that might be. Who knows? It's all random. So enjoy it. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
One last thing. What you think of that story?
Tell us in the comments below. Bye.